In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Nokia G310 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We have the new Nokia G310 5G in the house right here, and this is available at T-Mobile and Metro by T-Mobile. And personally, I picked this up at Metro by T-Mobile, and just like yesterday's video, the Revel 6X unboxing, if you guys haven't seen that, I'll leave a link in the description down below. That released yesterday as well. But just like that device, both these devices are retail $199, so they're pretty much the same price tag. Honestly, this phone feels and looks a bit better though, and the specifications inside of this actually look a bit better as well. So inside this device, we do have a 5000 milliamp battery, we have a Snapdragon 480 plus 5G, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and 128 gigabytes of internal storage. Also, we do have a dedicated micro SD card slot, so that's great to see. This is still going to be a 720p display, just like the Revel 6X. However, this display does have a 90 hertz refresh rate. So again, this is going to be an entry-level device, but if you guys don't have any of those things in the current phone that you have and it's kind of outdated, this is one of those devices you can definitely upgrade for $199 too. Not that I recommend that. I always recommend going the unlocked route, but if you guys are needing a phone for free, this looks pretty decent. But let's get inside of the box right here. Also, we have Android 13 inside of here, and 20 watts it is going to be charging at. The Revel 6X, it only charges at 15 watts, so we got 5 more watts on this device. We're gonna get into the camera specifications in a second right here as well. Phone is right here. We're gonna go ahead and put that to the side, and of course under here we are going to have our SIM ejector tool, terms and conditions, and of course our quick start guide and the safety and warranty and all that other stuff. There is no charger inside of here. However, we do get the data cable though. All right guys, so we have the phone right here, and we have some creative colors this year. No, but this color looks really sick in the light. Honestly, it kind of glows and stuff, but they just call this color blue. Nokia right here, as you guys can see, smack dab in the middle, and I am covering the IMEI number because that's going to be on here. It's actually less noticeable than most other devices, so that's nice to see. As you guys can see with our camera module, it kind of shines and shimmers as well. Nice to see. I definitely like how Nokia has this kind of business casual look right here. But as far as our cameras go, our main camera is going to be a 50 megapixel wide angle camera. Our secondary is going to be a 2 megapixel macro, and our third is going to be a 2 megapixel depth. We have LED flash, of course, on here. We have HDR, and we have panorama mode as well. And this is going to be an AI camera, so we have some different features on here. This device also lets you not only shoot at 1080p 30 frames per second, but 60 frames per second as well. So great to see that. Right side of the phone, we have our power button that's going to double as our fingerprint sensor as well. And just above that, we have our volume up and down rocker. On the top of the phone, we have our noise canceling mic. And on the left side of the phone, we have our SIM tray that's actually going to double as your SD card slot. So if you guys have a micro SD card, you guys can go ahead and put that in there for some extra storage. Bottom of the phone, we do have only a single speaker. This does not have stereo speakers. I repeat, this does not have stereo speakers. In the middle, we have a USB Type-C port. Left of that, we have a noise canceling mic, and left of that, we have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Shout out to all of the people who use the headphone jack. Beautiful to see it on here. As far as the form factor goes, I would say this does feel better in the hands than the Revel 6X. So just straight off the bat, I feel like this feels better. Also, I don't know what it is about Nokia devices, and I've kind of found this about the Nokia X100 as well, which is the other device, or the more recent device before this device that Metro by T-Mobile offered. But the haptic feedback feels a lot better than most other budget or entry-level budget phones, to be specific. It kind of has this premium feeling haptic feedback where it's kind of like a little shock, and it doesn't feel like a flimsy phone when it vibrates. So the build on this does feel better, and the haptic feedback straight away I can notice feels better as well. The big differences we're going to see between this and the Revel 6X, just because they've released at the same time, I guess I'll just go ahead and compare them, is the 4500 milliamp battery. on, of course, the Revel 6X compared to the 5000 milliamp battery that we get on here. So we get 500 more milliamps. And the other thing is we actually get, it looks like a more decent processor inside of here. So instead of the Dimensity 700, we get a Snapdragon 480 plus 5G processor in here. Obviously, both 5G devices, and I think the biggest thing that you guys are going to notice, you know, even though this one has a chin at the bottom as well, is that we have a 90 hertz refresh rate on here, and it actually looks really, really good. And I also like what the Revel 6X and, of course, the Nokia devices are doing right here, which it's pretty much a stock Android device, as you guys can see. And we have all of those toggles that those stock Android devices have. So if we go ahead and hold the power button, that's going to bring up our Google Assistant and we can ask it anything right there. Really nice to see that. I think the Google Assistant is one of my probably second favorite ways to search stuff. So great to see that on this device. If we go into the drop down bar menu, as you guys can see, we have our internet, but we also have NFC on this device as well. So great to see that. We have our wallet where we can go ahead and add our cards and our memberships and other stuff like that, our coupons. We have our screencast right here, native screen recorder. We also have our screenshot thing right there. We have nearby share on here as well, scanning QR codes, and of course our NFC is on. So great to see all of those things on here. I like that we're seeing NFC a lot more on these entry-level devices. And the display looks decent on this. I know the PPI is only, I think, 269 PPI, but it looks good. We also get Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on here, so that's another thing we get. And I believe we get one major OS update, but we're going to be rocking Android 13 on this out of the box. First thing I want to go ahead and take a look at is the camera. And let's go ahead and take a pic on this. Also, something that you're going to notice, shutter speed is quick right there. One thing that you're going to notice is that in your smart view or when you're in the selfie mode, your selfies are going to look terrible in the viewfinder. Just letting you know that. But once you actually take the photo, it looks pretty decent. So this is a solid entry-level phone for taking photos. The clarity is really good. I would say at best it kind of ranks with the Galaxy A24 or A34. It's really not that bad at all. Nokia has some decent cameras, especially on their entry-level devices. I've even found that with the Nokia X100, but this looks good. This looks pretty good. I'm going to put this through the ringer, of course, and we're going to see how this actually performs with video and everything else. But the colors and the clarity and stabilization is pretty decent on the camera. Also, shutter speed is pretty cool as well. So definitely like to see that. Of course, video, we have 1080p, 60 frames per second. We have a video stabilization mode on here as well. We have portrait mode, which I guess since we're here, let's go ahead and check that out. So portrait mode even looks really good on here with this AI camera. So as you guys know, budget phones are getting really, really good, and entry-level devices are actually getting really good with their cameras as well. So love to see it. We also have night mode on here, which actually works very, very well. We're gonna turn the lights down almost all the way off. It's surprising how decent this is. I know it's not the greatest in the world, but it's surprising how decent this is. And it looks decent. It looks pretty decent. I mean, we're basically in the dark right here. We have a tiny, tiny light on this, and this looks really good. So clarity's even there as well. So definitely surprised with that. We also have some more modes on here. As you're going to see in a second, we have flash shot. We also have dual sight. We have macro mode. We have time lapse, of course. We have panorama, slow motion, and pro mode. If you guys would like to change your ISO, white balance, and all that other stuff. If you guys are photographers, we also have like grid lines on there as well, which is great to see. But the camera looks decent on here for $199 or for a free device. And it feels a lot better in the hands. I'm really, really liking how this phone feels. It feels a lot more premium than the Revel 6X. And I like that the phone looks different as well. I know I'm kind of being a stickler about that, but the Revel 6X, man, it looks exactly like the Revel 6. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it's basically just a different color, and it's basically the Revel 6 just with a little bit more storage. I know there's still going to be people that enjoy that phone, but man, if you guys are going to go for one of these devices, this one is probably the one to go for out of the two. Next thing I want to go ahead and do is go ahead and test out the speaker. Again, we just have one loudspeaker at the bottom of the phone. and we're gonna go ahead and check out a 4K video and see how that looks. And I believe that's going to be downscaled to 1080p 60 FPS. All right guys, so we have our advanced filter on at 1080p 60 frames per second for a resolution, and I'm already noticing this looks better than the Revel 6X. The colors look better straight away. And of course, this is a 90 hertz refresh rate on this display, so that's going to make this look a lot better as well. It looks really good though. Yeah, so anybody that's used to entry-level devices, you guys are going to be absolutely pleased with this display. It looks decent. Alright guys, so we have a song from non-copyright sounds. I just want to go ahead and show you the speaker, and I'll give you my opinions on it in a second. Alright guys, so if you are used to entry-level budget phones, I don't think you guys are going to have an issue with this. If you're not, this is kind of going to be a tinny speaker, and it's not really going to be loud at all, even with the sound booster that they put inside of here as well. If you guys didn't know, they do have a sound booster inside of here, right there. You guys can go ahead and turn it on, and it doesn't sound great. It's really not that great. I would recommend, if you're playing video games or whatever, plug in some earbuds, but the speaker is probably the weakest side of this phone. But yeah guys, as far as the Nokia G310 5G goes, I feel like this is a better device than the Revel 6X, just spending a tiny bit of time with it. Form factor feels better. 5,000 milliamp battery instead of 4,500. Of course, we have the 90 hertz refresh rate inside of here, and we have the Snapdragon 480 plus 5G processor inside of here as well. Now, the gaming and everything else, on the other hand, we're going to test out later on, and we're going to do a full comparison between those devices. But as these devices are in the same price range, and they both released at Metro by T-Mobile yesterday, I thought I'd just talk about that. I thought that was a relevant topic. But if you guys have any questions about these devices or any other devices, leave them in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below, and if you guys want to see any other videos like this in the future or more videos on these devices, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. But this has been Safan from TechRight. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Peace out, Tech Gang.